Good day to everybody. Just going to do some part comparison today. So, hopefully light in the background ain't too much. And just going to go through some things. So I'll show you some part numbers first before we get too far. We're going to go through the McLeod flywheel. That's the part number. We got some bolts. These bolts are for the clutch pressure plate. These bolts are for the flywheel to bolt onto the back of the crank. So part number 1540 for the crank bolts, clutch bolts 1512. They say chromoly. I would assume these ones are probably chromoly too. I think they was advertised as ARP. They do not say ARP on them though. So, could be a plus, could be a negative, I don't know. So, along with the factory flywheel, we're going to get the transmissions and stick them on the scale. Who's excited? We'll find out what's what. So, for starters, get this camera set up. There we go. Everything will be a little upside down, I guess. So if I take the factory flywheel, stick it on here, it's going to be a little bit offset. It is about 36 pounds. Stick it standing straight up also. About 35 that direction. So everybody can see fine. Click on some light. There we go. Get the SFI McLeod flywheel. Stick on there. We're at about 26 pounds. 10-pound difference, so that's cool. Set that to the side. Put that back on top and try to get an idea on the bolt hole pattern. They look like they're about right. So the flywheels themselves, SFI one, from tip of the ring to tip of the ring is about 13 3/16. The face of it is just under 12.5 inches. Versus the factory one. It is about 14 5/8 from the ring gear to 13 3/4. So that could be the 10-pound difference. Just the extra inch or whatever that was. It does look like the bolt holes were the same. Just by eyeballing them. Now, down inside these bolt holes, you can see it's got like a step down before you hit the threads. Same thing on the McLeod SFI one. There's the SFI sticker. Now it does look like their tap touched the outside of that, but the threads don't start until they get down in there. I've already stuck the bolt in them and tested it because they are a shoulder bolt. since we're here at the scale, let's try to get everything weighed and get these transmissions. And the flywheel shouldn't be an issue. This transmission put on there. Old transmission sitting on there. We are at 117 pounds. Yeah, still stays at about 117. Well, try the other one. That was my nv3500 transmission. The t56. Listen, here's advertised at 135. So my scale could be off, but for reference, it reads down there where you can see better at about 125. So it could be 10 pounds off. But that is without the bell housing. Let's throw the bell housing on top of it. And now we're about 156 pounds. Yeah, 156 pounds. So that was what, 117 with the other one. So we've gained about 40 pounds, minus possibly 10 pounds on the flywheel. So we've gained about 30 pounds probably, roughly. I'm not trying to do that math in my head. So this bell housing is the, I think, 8041. I don't see a part number on it. That is the SFI approved flywheel or bell housing. It's got your scatter plate. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, check out my unboxing video on it. I went over it, part numbers on that stuff prior. I don't know why this camera's always automatically zoomed in. So did look like the bolt holes were the same pattern. So if you didn't catch my last video, it does say 1964 to 78, 340, 383, 446 bolt crank, 130 tooth, which is evidently the same bolt pattern as a small block. Mine is the 318 Magnum I'm currently running. Engine. So it does not, the flywheel does not have the Let's see. Down here. We may need to put you down somehow. I'm never prepared. Yeah. Let's see. There we go. Back at the flywheel. Does not have any notches out of it. For the crank sensor on the Magnum, where look at the back of the other flywheel, factory one, you've got your notches right there all cut out. That could be why this one's 10 pounds heavier. And the fact that it was smaller. So let's see. In case you was wondering, the trans tunnel. I got the floorboard all cleaned up in here. Took a shot back to it. Got some paint down. She's looking pretty. So I did grind it down a little bit. Weld on the back side. May or may not like my welds. That don't matter. Doesn't matter if they're pretty. They just got to hold. They will be getting covered up. Alright. So let's get to these bolts. Assuming that you can see everything just fine. But I got this bolt and nut thread checker. Got it from the Temu. My dad's got the bigger ones where it's just got your standard on one board and then your metric on another. This one here does have a couple extra smaller sizes. It's also got different holes for your drill bits to check your drill bit sizes. The only one I've seen so far that this one does not have, this does not have the 9/16. So it goes from 632, from a 6 mil, well, let's go, a 4 mil, 6 mil, not millimeter, this would be the SAE size side, or standard size. 4, 6, 8, 10, another 1024, 1032, 1224, quarter 20, quarter 28, 5/16, 24, 5/16, 18, 3/16, or 3/8, 16, 3/8, 24, 7/16, 20, 7/16, 14, ½ inch 20, ½ inch by 13, a 3/4 16, and a 5/8 11. So, and then there's a 5/8 18 here, and a 3/4 10 here. So 3/4 10, 3/4 16. Anyways, not trying to talk about this, but it is a cool little tool. Check your bolt thread sizes. Pop my gloves off. It's a little easier to open up little plastic baggies. So, clutch pressure plate bolt, factory bolt, factory flywheel bolt. Flywheel bolt is a 7/16 20. Clutch pressure plate is 3/8 16. Coarse thread, fine thread. So if we get our clutch bolt, brand new ones, they are a 12-point bolt. They say their size on it, 3/8 by 10. Up top, you're gonna have to take more, and then it's got like an AXS, maybe a 5. They come with a blue thread lock tape, and they also have washers. One side is kind of dull, one side is a little more shiny. The more shiny side, the inside lip looks a little chamfered, so I would say that probably goes up and then goes on your bolt. I do like the factory bolt, how it's, you got the edge here, keeps the bolt head itself sticking up higher, that way you can get your socket on it easier, and the fact that it's got a smaller head on it than what the aftermarket one does. Again, might need better lighting here. Maybe if I bring it down a little bit, the shadow's not there so much. Maybe not. Yeah. That way you can see the size difference. Not a whole lot. I don't carry a whole lot of 12-point stuff. But bolt length is, with the washer, the same length. So no complaints there. That's without the washer. Thick washer on it. And it doesn't touch. I can still spin it. So just as much thread engagements. Threads look about the same length there. So plus on that. So far I would recommend it until one breaks. Hopefully that don't happen. Torque them down to the correct spec and you should be fine. Now the flywheel bolt, again, socket size is going to be a different size, wrench, whatever you want to call it, for the top. Just by looking at these, I do like these ones better because they've got the shoulder up here at the top of the threads, bottom of the thread, whichever way you want to call that. Can help align your flywheel better. Size itself, length, they are longer. Move that out of the way. New ones are longer than the factory ones, as you can see. These did not come with a washer. Neither did the factory ones. They never had a washer on them either. So a little length longer, we'll call that a plus. Same thing with these. Nothing wrong with those. Dump those out. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That is the amount that it takes. So those back in the bag. Save them for installation. So now that we know our thread sizes are the same, bolt patterns also seem to be the same. I'll be able to get that plate for the bell housing put on the back of the transmission, and bolt the flywheel on. Probably even go ahead and put the bell housing on it. All the rest of the parts are supposed to be in within the next few days. And when they come in, maybe I'll go over those. Sorry. I am just looking at something. I'm not sure why, it's just on the larger bolts, but got my eye, maybe it got, I noticed on this bolt and nut tray. So a lot of your bolts that's on here, down through here, don't have the holes going all the way through them. So, wonder if that's anything particular or not. Those are there for a reason. Maybe just to make it lighter. It does have these little screw-on feet on the back. I don't know, I like it. Don't remember what it cost, but it's neat. Smaller, more compact than the ones. I'll show them to you in case you're wondering. They're up here, so I'll grab them down. They're gonna light. Still daylight out. Not very bright over here. So you got these ones. I think these are the same thing. You see Earl King. So you got your metrics. But you can see all the different sizes. You got your standards. Missing a nut. Hard to tell where it went. These I have noticed you can pop these nuts out. They've got like a piece of glue or something holding them on. But you can pop them out, you can stick them back in. So if you need to, instead of grabbing this whole piece, you can pop a nut out. I've even popped a bolt out of it before. And it's got some measurement things on it. Yeah. Anyways. So, I don't know, not a very enjoyable video, but these are things of what's out there in the world. Maybe not everybody knows that you can buy those thread checkers. Maybe you're looking around for some bolts for your flywheel or clutch, and you're unsure what part number to use, where to get them at. I bought mine through McLeod. Sent them a message, email, said, hey, I'm looking for some parts, and anything else that you may offer that may help. And they replied back. Asked them a question, they asked me a question, gave them all my answers. And one of them with tire size and truck and horsepower rating, stuff like that. So, and then they replied back with an email with all the part numbers, and they gave me 2 different part numbers for clutches. I didn't know why. So I bought the one, hasn't came in yet. Ordered everything from Summit, because McLeod does not do free shipping when you spend over $109 like Summit does. So, and Summit had everything for the same exact price. So, and I got free shipping. So, plus for me. Anyways, longer video than what I thought it was going to be. You guys enjoy. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you later. Bye.